Testing, testing, 1, 2. And welcome to your LSU Football Fix. I'm Preston Guy, your fearless host for the evening. Tonight we've got a very special guest, Mr. T-Bob Hebert, someone I'm very excited about. Now, his camera's not going to be working tonight, so we're going to do an audio preview. But he's got a lot of exciting things going on in his life. So I'm not going to waste any time. I do want to thank Tramonte's for presenting our show tonight. Of course, Tramonte's is your tailgating and homegating headquarters for the 2022 season. So let's bring them all up in here. T-Bob, what's going on, man?
Yo, Preston, what up, dude? I love Tramonte's, dude. They got great crawfish, bro. Great solid spot.
I'm glad you said that, man, because it is so good. They're crawfish, man. Every year, that Tuesday night special when it's like $2.99 or whatever. Good dude.
Oh, whoa! I didn't even know there was a Tuesday night special.
Yeah, every Tuesday night he basically just marks it down at cost, just like, all right, screw it. But you got to get 10 pounds, but I will finish 10 pounds. No issue.
Hell yeah, man.
All right.
What's going on, dude?
No, man, you got a lot going on. You got a new podcast you're starting on The Volume with Colin Cowherd. Have you told Colin how bad his Joe Burrow takes were?
I actually have not talked to Colin yet. I've not met Papa C, our fearless leader of the herd. But I think there's going to be some interesting potential. Joe Burrow. Well, we'll see. I'll just say this. No, I mean
full circle.
Yeah, he consistently bet against Burrow, right? Everybody, because look, if you're in the Tate game, not only a lot of times, especially when you reach that level, right? It's not that you're whole cloth, like you're not just making things up, right? But you are looking for takes that'll get a reaction, and you're looking for takes that you at least somewhat believe in and can form an argument around, right? And when you're talking about the run that LSU was on, if you were just playing the historical odds, we've seen those sort of runs crash and burn and come to an end. And so he was constantly kind of playing the odds, trying to catch LSU on the downswing, zig when everybody was zagging, and Joe Burrow just doesn't get beat, dude. He's Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And they burned him.
He picked the worst guy to bet against. So,
yeah,
other exciting news in your life, I'm sure. We've got Rings of Power coming up. And
bro, my
House
life is so crazy right now. We got House of Dragons that just dropped, and I thought it was really good. What a just warm, nice return to Westeros. I forgot how much I miss spending my Sunday nights in Westeros. Now, I wish they had dropped it during football season, but that's a different conversation. I mean, yeah, we got Rings of Power coming out. In fact, I think Perkins Rowe is doing the theater release thing for the first 2 episodes. So I'm be hitting up that.
Oh, that's cool.
You got Andor coming out, which is being accompanied by a Rogue One re-release in theaters. And Andor looks fantastic.
It does.
And football season's back, dude.
Football
and
season, yeah. And look, this is all
for. Go ahead.
It's all on the heels of Kenobi, which I thought was incredible.
I thought Kenobi was I thought it was awesome, dude. Obviously, the highs were incredibly high. The whole last episode, both of the Vader Kenobi fights were spectacular. I still don't think that any new Star Wars, though, has touched Mando Season 2. Mando Season 2, to me, is still the best post prequels Star Wars that we have gotten.
That's a bold take. Well, I have the ability to sit here for literally about 3 hours talking all things nerdy with you, but unfortunately the T-Bob budget ends in about 11 minutes. So I'm going to move on to some sports here. You got to stay extra after not only the media session on Saturday, but they did a former players reunion of sorts.
Yeah,
What'd you get to
yeah, it
see?
was kind of a community outreach. Well, I had my 2 daughters with me, and it was a kind of a madhouse trying to get them to, like, chill and watch, and then it started raining. I finally found a good spot at the end. I got to watch the final 4 drives, and, the offense looked really good. I mean, I think they scored 3 touchdowns. Daniel scored with the ones and the twos. I think Nuss scored with the ones, I believe. It was, it was an impressive outing. I mean, some things that like I saw Marcus Dumerville have a really successful drive going against BJ Ojolari. Like I feel a little more confident about the 2 deep on the LSU offensive line. They had a real fascinating rotation on the LSU offensive line where they were almost like doing hockey line shifts at times, or sometimes replacing half the line. Like it definitely seemed like they were preparing for, okay, random game situation, guy goes down, we're going to move multiple pieces around. But it also felt like maybe there's a world out there where they get some sort of a line rotation going, something that is not too generally done, but could be interesting. I mean, I doubt it, right? I think they're
What you're
just trying different things
saying
out. But the
what you're
point
saying
of
is
it
they gave
is,
him the T-Bob treatment? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, they were they. I mean, look, Brad Davis. It's very well known that he likes to cross train guys, right? And you should, like, everybody should cross train on offensive line. But I just thought it was like mid drive where like a full set would come out and a full set would go in, and I thought that was pretty interesting just in terms of reps, dude. I think they're like I'm way more confident in the 2 deep than I have been in years, which sounds weird because you have a true freshman left tackle, 2 transfer guards, a center that's never played center before, and a right tackle that's never played right tackle before. But I like the talent, so we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, the wide receivers continue to be the strength of the team. Malik Neighbors, fantastic. Keishawn Booty, fantastic. And then you just get into depth at that position. So I mean, look, I think that I still think in a close quarterback race, I still think the legs of Daniels, his ability to run, pushes him maybe over the top here for the beginning. Now we'll see how he does in the games, how the team does. It's maybe you try something else. I think Daniels has the inside track, but Brian Kelly said today it's a very, very tight race, which is why it's taking so long to announce. And I do take that at face value as they've started to announce other positions. I think I just saw on Twitter they announced Dellinger is officially going to be the starting center. So
Let me ask you on that.
it's interesting, man. I Vegas doesn't like LSU that much. They're like 6.5 or whatever. A lot of analytics, like the S&P Plus, is at like 6.5. But I don't know, man. I'm bullish. I'm feeling 8-4. I don't. Yeah. I think this is a team that is being undervalued from a talent to coaching standpoint. But it's also a team that is a complete unknown. So I get the volatility. Like of course, something like S&P Plus, which tries to predict the future, isn't going to like LSU because, according to its metrics, it's kind of hard to project what LSU is going to be.
Yeah, I agree. It's I don't think it's necessarily about this season for LSU right now. It's about whether the program's heading in the right direction. That's what I'm looking for. Can Brian Kelly build this back eventually? Dellinger had some troubles with the snap. Now you're a former center, but you also are a former everything. Okay. So does that give you any concern that this close to the season your starting center is having trouble with the
No,
essential function of that position?
well, if it was okay, so like what I've been saying on that is it was mainly one day, right? Now there will be a fumbled snap probably, right? He is still so new to the position that I think that's going to happen during the season at some point. But I'm not overly worried about it because of that one day, right? Like if a guy can't snap, it's every day. Like if you're just someone who cannot, for whatever reason, get down the ability to snap, you're having problems every day. Dellinger is relatively new to the position. He doesn't have the muscle memory fully encoded yet, to where he's snapping, stepping, and punching with his offhand all at the same time, without really thinking about it, right? I mean, you think about any other position on the offensive line, and you're coming up with two hands at the same time. You're doing a two-handed punch. When you're a center, you're snapping and punching with that offhand and bringing the second one behind it, almost like a little combination, like, and it takes a lot of getting used to, right? He's never done that before, and so when you're going against a very good zero nose in Mason Taylor, or excuse me, Mason Smith, that can start to mess with your head, right? And so all of a sudden you're short arming the snap because you're trying to get your hands up, you're getting beat, you're in that little bit of the whirlpool where you're snapping bad because you're getting beaten, and you're getting beaten in part because you're snapping bad. And so the fact that it was just one day, I'm not worried about it. It happens, and it is a problem that is relatively easy to fix because it's just pure reps. You can just sit there and take extra snaps with quarterbacks forever, and eventually it will become like just complete second nature, right? Like right now, he's probably having to commit even some small subconscious part of his brain to the snap, which makes it tough when your brain then wants to fully engage with Mason Smith. Eventually, you're using like no brain power to do that.
Yeah, hopefully he's not, overthinking the snap and missing reads and stuff like that. There was so much disorganization on that offensive line a year ago, and we saw where that got them, particularly early in the season. T, I know you're up against the clock here. You got to head out of here. So why don't you tell everybody exactly your new endeavors you're moving forward onto, and tell them what you're still doing. You're still doing your radio, right?
Yeah. So still doing it off the bench. We're doing it obviously every morning, 7 to 10 a.m. It's a lot of fun. Talk a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of LSU. And then now, shout out to the Volume, Papa Cowherd. They started that podcast network, and J Boy was doing the old college football show for him. He moved on. Job opened up. They hit me up and said they want me and Aaron Murray to do it. I'm like, hell yes. This is finally the perfect excuse to buy the gaming PC of my dream. I now have that at an office, and it is
Nice.
everything that I dreamed it would be. It's a life goal accomplished. And yeah, so we're doing a college football podcast, man, every day, Monday through Thursday. It's 1 to 1:45 on YouTube. Snaps is the name of the show. If you look up the Volume Network, you find the Snap Show. You can subscribe to it there. And yeah, I'm also doing a behind the follow thing on LSU Gold, which is pretty interesting. I've been enjoying the LSU Gold documentary about Brian Kelly. You can check that out as
Yeah.
well. So
Well, that's a whole new endeavor. I wish I had more time to expand on premium,
I know.
from the team content, a whole new uncharted territory.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's like anything else, man. I mean, it's just like, if they're all they just gotta find their audience, right? Like there's an audience
Mhm.
of people that don't want that. There's a bunch of people that won't, and it's just we're all I mean, I guess that's what we're all searching for. We're all just trying to find our audience and talk about things that we love, which I love Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and LSU
Well, there we
football,
go.
but mainly Lord of the Rings, and I cannot freaking wait for Rings of Power, dude.
All right. So if you had to pick House of Dragon or Rings of Power, which one are you going with? Just one.
It's not even close, dude. I mean, it's Rings of Power, and and
Oh
and
wow.
and 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 the reason being is first off, Lord of the Rings is my undefeated number one love IP. I love nothing like I love Lord of the Rings. I mean, it changed my life when I saw that first movie when I was 11 years old, or 10 years old, or 11. I don't know. Anyway, the
2001
other
T-Bob.
reason is you can go read House of Fire, the story that House of Dragons is based off of, and it is fantastic. Whatever Rings of Power is going to be, you can't read it, which could be a negative because you're getting away from Tolkien, which is always going to be dangerous, right? Now, I think these guys have a lot of positive signs, whoever the showrunners are, in that I know that they uber respect the Tolkien lore. Um, they also respect what Peter Jackson did and the practical effect principles that he really built those movies on. And so and hearing the values that they espouse and seeing the previews and seeing the orcs once again go back to like prosthetics with digital enhancements, there's a lot that I'm starting to get hyped about with this
Yeah, I'm so
this
glad
Rings of
because
Power show.
everybody seems to be trashing that show before giving it a chance. So I'm very excited about it personally.
Bro, that's just your freaking last corner, your last Jedi corners of the internet that you inhabit.
Well, okay, but
Like
that's like every corner of
that's
the
your
internet, The Last
algorithm.
Jedi.
That's your algorithm showing you follow miserable people.
Well, your love of Last Jedi had you questioning democracy. It had you turning into a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because yeah, even though I'm gonna say time has been way kinder to my side, dude. The Last Jedi is aging like a fine wine, whereas Rise of Skywalker, well, it doesn't even have to be about Rise of Skywalker. People are seeing finally what The Last Jedi was trying to do, warts and all, admittedly, warts and all. But people are seeing the vision now, and it was a better vision than what we got, unfortunately. But
Well,
it's
when
all
you're
good, dude.
up against the clock, Les, I'd love to have you back on. Maybe show your lovely face on this show next time. But yeah, man, let's check in again soon. Appreciate you. Y'all go give him a follow at tbob53.
All right, Preston, holla, man.
Later. That is T-Bob, A-Bear, 1045 ESPN. Now the Volume Sports with Colin Cowherd. Y'all might remember. I believe it's going to be a similar spot to the J-Boy show we used to have. I want to take a second to thank my sponsor, Tramonte. Y'all don't go anywhere, though, because I'm going to break down what I expect to see from your starting lineup on the offense tonight. I'm going to go heavy offense. Next week, if there's no major breaking news, recruit committing, something like that, like we've had the last couple weeks on our show, we'll be doing defense. But we shall see. So there's T-Bob. I wish I had him longer. I wish I had him on video, but he's a good guy, and I'm happy for him for his new endeavor at the Volume Sports. Let's see here. Let's thank Tramonte's, and I'll be right back.
Tramonte's has meat. Tramonte's has seafood. Tramonte's has much more. Tailgating and homegating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tramontes.com.
Thank you, Tramonte's, located right behind Parkview Baptist there. Mark J hit me with a good question, which I'm going to get to, Mark J. I'm going to start at quarterback because, I mean, that's where everybody cares about everything. Brian Kelly's still playing a little bit of cold turtle, not ready to quite admit who he wants to be the starter, but I might play on this interesting clip here. This is on the TigerBait page here, which kind of gives you a little preview of what you get if you go to our website. So let's hear from Brian Kelly.
Right here in the middle. It's such a close battle at the quarterback position. Is there a chance we would see both guys against Florida State, or are you just going to ride with QB1 and that's it?
I don't know that I have an answer for that question, as much as I think we need to make the decision, start who it is that we feel gives us the best chance to win, but know that both of them are quarterbacks that can help us win the SEC. So however that plays out, it's really hard for me to answer that question looking forward. But I think at the moment we feel really good about both of those quarterbacks. I'm trying to be evasive, but it's just a fact.
And there you go. He even says it. I'm trying to be evasive. I kind of like how Kelly's a bit of a straight shooter. I'm going to go ahead and predict Jayden Daniels will be the guy who takes your first snap. I think that he's got 27 games under his belt. I think he's a fantastic athlete, and I think he's got a lively arm. You have a receiving core, however, that is so good. you can't afford to have a guy who's missing on throws. And he has historically had some accuracy issues. I've talked a lot about, I took a lot of heat in the spring when I'm like, yeah, based on what I saw in the spring, Jayden needs to improve a lot. I thought he needed to improve more than the other two guys. And I think he has improved based on what I've seen. I got to go to practice on Saturday and he looked pretty good. I'll say this, his form seems to be the most unorthodox of the guys, but that's mostly because Nussmeier and Walker Howard both have incredibly pretty looking releases and footwork and all that. It's aesthetically pleasing, especially Walker Howard, man. I have a feeling one day Walker Howard is going to be a darn good quarterback for this team, but I don't want that day to be today. I don't think Coach Kelly wants that day to be today. I think it's going to be Jayden Daniels, and I think Nussmeier is going to get some looks, but I think Nussmeier needs to improve on his decision-making, and I think that they're going to want to ease him in there. They might even want to go, be up by a couple scores or be in a position where you need him be down a couple scores. I could imagine in a tight game wanting to roll with Jayden because Nussmeier, you need to see how he looks when the lights turn on because it's mostly decision making is his problem. His arm is something to behold and he can move around. He just has to get better with his decisions. He's a little too Brett Favre. We're just going to have to see. I wish I had an answer, but I do believe thoroughly that it's going to be day one. We're going to be talking about Jayden Daniels out there. And Nussmeier will get in, particularly if the score, if we see the score differentiate itself by 10 points or so. I think LSU's quarterback room is probably in a better spot than when it was when Miles Brennan was here, because now you get to focus on three guys. You get to focus on your starter, the guy who's going to compete with him for spots, and you're going to focus on the face of the future, who is Walker Howard. So you can see Jayden Daniels out here rolling around, making some plays with his legs. He just brings a lot to the table. Running back, guys, y'all, running back's problem, especially your first two games. John Emery's going to miss your first two games. Now, your second game's Southern. Your first game is Florida State. Florida State's obviously the problematic one. Brian Kelly likes to use three running backs. His whole time at Notre Dame, basically, almost, not every single year, but almost every single year, he had three guys with 40 or more carries. That is not an accident. He likes to rotate guys in and out. We saw that with Frank Wilson. He likes to focus three feature backs. So you're gonna see a lot of that. But you have right now, your starter is going to be Noah Cain. Noah Cain's taking all the ones reps. We saw this week. They're getting him ready to go. Behind him, you've got Josh Williams, who's a former walk-on, but a talented player nonetheless. So you can see him catching the ball right there. You've got Armoni Goodwin, who is a little slow. He was sidelined with an ankle injury on Saturday. So you've got a banged up player there. Then you've got John Emery, who's out. Now I'm expecting John Emery to have a great season, but I mean, if he's not available first two games, that's bad. That hurts him. That hurts the team. So those first two games, basically, especially if Armoni Goodwin is still slowed down by that ankle, you're basically rolling out with Noah Cain and Josh Williams, a former walk-on. And behind them, you've got Nick DeMoss, who's a former walk-on. Who's a current walk-on. I'm sorry. Nick DeMoss. So running back depth is a problem, especially considering Brian Kelly likes to roll a minimum of three guys out there. Now, it's funny, at other position groups, guys, you've got an abundance of riches. I'm not really exaggerating much at all when I say an abundance of riches. I mean, there are going to be good offensive linemen on the sideline for the first time in quite a while at LSU. I mean, it seems like the last 2 seasons, it's been very deep. Now, we got a question here. I'm gonna remove that out. Let's see here. Mark J wants to know who will start at right tackle. Well, all I can tell you is who I saw when I was at practice. I saw Cam Wire at right tackle. So that would be my best guess. But like T-Bob said, you're doing a carousel of players. You've got a ton of quality players. Will that be your starter? It could be. I'll say this. The one consistent name you're seeing is Will Campbell, 6'6", 325 true freshman at a Neville 5-star player. Y'all know Neville. That left tackle, that's like the one just known quantity, which is odd in my opinion. The true the surefire thing. Brian Kelly also did announce that Dellinger will be your center. T-Bob and I were talking about that earlier in the show. He's of course having some snap issues, but really you just need to pick a guy and roll with him. And that's that. Garrett Dellinger, 6'5", 320. Miles Frazier, the transfer from FIU, freshman All-American, 6'6", 323. Y'all gotta notice I'm getting at something with these height weights I'm naming here. Redshirt sophomore. He's looking like he's gonna be your left guard, right? And I would expect that'll be a very good left guard for you, because the talk of the town coming in was he was going to be your left tackle, which is your big man on campus. And Will Campbell said, "Nah, I got this," and he's nasty. So you've got a very good left side of the line. I think Dellinger is a good offensive lineman to turn to. We just don't know. I mean, I expect him to get the center rolled down eventually, but there might be some growing pains there. And then at right guard, the guy I've seen most is Anthony Bradford, 6'5", 345. And we've seen, he's a junior. He's been around. We've seen him. I think all 5 of those guys are good players, guys. I think you've got 5 good offensive linemen. By the way, Marcus Dumerville, not in the starting lineup. Xavier Hill, not in your starting lineup. If what I'm saying is true, is what I'm getting at. Tremont Shorts, highly coveted transfer out of Eastern Tennessee, not in your starting lineup. Emory Jones, who a lot of people are talking about, and he's looking really good, not in your starting lineup. Bo Bordelon with a lot of potential, not in your starting lineup. Charles Turner will be a backup center. Of course, his struggles have been greatly documented, but you also bring in Fitzgerald West as another center. Y'all, Marlon Martinez is a guy I haven't even mentioned. There's a lot of good offensive linemen, and that's a very good thing. That is why Brian Kelly is rotating in and out so many folks right now, because you've got so many good players. All right, I'm gonna add the coward. So Mike Scarborough just popped up in here, volume only, and trolled us with that little take there. But that's what he thinks about the offensive line. Apparently, I was gonna bring him, upstage here, but he chickened out. Oh wow. But anyways, guys, you realize your lightest offensive lineman we're talking about there is Cam Wire. We're talking about Cam Wire at 292. Sorry, I had a little speaker go off there. That's wild. That is a huge. We're talking about an offensive line that averages about 320 and about 6'6", or I guess 6'5" and a half or whatever. But this will certainly be one of the biggest offensive lines in the SEC. I expect the progress we showed under offensive line coach last year, Brad Davis. I expect the offensive line will be greatly improved this year. I think we're going to see the offense will just function. The offense was in dysfunction a lot last year because the offensive line just couldn't do basic things. We're talking about just getting basic assignments down. We're talking about, they struggled against Central Michigan at the line of scrimmage, and the running backs were getting hit a yard behind the line of scrimmage. That should never happen ever. Y'all tell me about what y'all think. I've been through 3 position groups already. Y'all tell me if I'm spot on. Running back is going to be a problem, but just out of sheer depth, I think once John Emery comes back and you have Noah Kane and John Emery, I think that'll be a good 2-headed monster. But I do, and of course Goodwin if he's healthy. I think you're in a good position there, but you're lacking depth. And just statistically speaking, throughout a season, something's going to happen where you lose one of those guys. And I think if you lose one of them, your running back room's in a bad shape. I think quarterback room is good. I don't think we're talking about a Heisman type season, but I could see either one of those guys throwing 20 plus touchdowns. I could see Jayden Daniels doing a lot. Jayden Daniels, whether he's the starter or not, I believe will have to come in and make some plays with his legs, like on designed runs, due to your lack of depth. You just need to give someone needs to take those carries to remain Brian Kelly's balance, or we're talking about spreading it about and throwing the ball around, which you might see already because we'll talk about tight end depth in just a bit. Before I move forward, I have a very special thank you to give here to our sponsor, Dead Soxy, y'all. Dead Soxy, of course, you can use the promo code TigerBait to get a good deal on any of their purple and gold or Louisiana themed socks. And of course, by doing that, you're telling them how much you're telling them that their sponsorship of this show is effective. So y'all, please go check out deadsoxy.com. Of course, they're ready for football season just like we are. They're celebrating the return. They're giving you an opportunity to score a free pair. Just go check it out, deadsoxy.com. There's going to be a little form that pops up. By signing it up, you'll be alerted of when new styles drop and information about, what kind of color combo socks you're interested in. They say color combo. So if you say purple and yellow, obviously they know what team you're interested in. Don't forget to visit the team colorways page. That's where you get to find which color socks you enjoy the most, as I'll go through here in just a bit. And as always, do not forget your promo code TigerBait. If they do any holiday promotion like Christmas 25 and it happens to be better than the TigerBait 25%, but when you use the TigerBait code, you're going to get that off. So don't forget, they have your black and gold socks. These are really nice dress socks. They, of course, have that non-slip silicone gel. It keeps it up. They have their footy socks. Again, a soft, thin material. You're not going to want to work out or anything in these, but they're very comfortable. And those dress shoes are the office guys. And, of course, these just classic purple and gold combos. So y'all go check out Dead Soxy. Very happy to have them on board again this season. All right, guys. Y'all give me any comments here about the positions y'all want to hear. I'm gonna keep on rolling down the list here, y'all. Oh boy, let's see here. Tight end. Brian Kelly loves to use the tight end, but it seems like LSU's kind of lacking at depth. I think they're going to have to adjust their system at tight end just because you don't really have all the bodies you want. So I think it's pretty much a no-brainer that Cole Taylor will be your starter. 6'7", long, lanky guy. He's put on a little bit of muscle this year. He's still got that thin build. I expect Cole Taylor will have a breakout system just because this system is designed for him to eat. I think Mason Taylor is a freshman player who is coming on strong here in fall camp. And I want to say it was unexpected, but he might pass up Jack Mashburn for that backup tight end role. And of course, Jack Mashburn, the 6'3", 237 tight end out of Mandeville, former walk-on guy. But, we saw how strong he was last year, particularly in the Florida game where he helped lead the way to break the LSU rushing record for Tyrion Davis-Price there. Jack Mashburn's a guy who's an absolute mauler, and he can definitely catch a few passes in the flat. So because Mason Taylor is coming on so strong here as of late, I think feeling really good about that position, much better than you were. However, Brian Kelly loves to have a plethora of tight ends, and he loves to have some of the best tight ends in the country. I don't think I think Mason and Cole are both good players. They're both young players. I don't know if they'll be All-American types. I do expect that Cole Taylor will be your third leading receiver this year, simply because Brian Kelly loves to target the tight end. I think, in fact, most years his tight end is his second leading receiver. So that kind of just gives you a perspective of how much he likes to feed it. And the fact that I'm saying he'll be third is, it's kind of behind the bar that he set in the past. So, man, guys, oh man. I'm getting some comments here that are just not coming through on the stream here. So if I'm missing your comment, guys, it's not a shot on you. I'm just noticing on you, it's just not coming through to my feed. But anyways, I think tight end will be an area where you'd like to be better off, but you'll be okay. It won't be like a problem. Like, I think running back is a bigger problem. Let's see here. Joe Guidry, I'm not putting this on the screen because we like to keep it PG, but he's saying QB room, Miles is gone and the QB room got better. Well, my point is that Miles Brennan was going to be your third string quarterback. He wasn't going to be your starter. And quite frankly, when he's on the team, he's splitting reps. He's taking time away, developing Walker Howard, and it's just a distraction. Not to mention, you had about 50% of the fan base wanting him as the starter. He was the known entity, the familiar face in this program. A lot of people would be calling him. You don't necessarily want that if your coach doesn't think he's the guy. So what happens, when Jayden Daniels goes out there and throws an interception and all the fans, Miles, and Brian Kelly sitting there saying, well, Nussmeier would be the guy I turn to. Well, it's just a log jam is what you had. You had three guys just in it, and your third string quarterback was the most popular man on campus. I think that you have a clear vision. You've got two guys competing, one guy with a leg up in the competition, Jayden Daniels, and you got Nussmeier, who's still there. And then you've got Walker Howard, who can get all the other reps after those guys. That's what I mean by the quarterback room in better shape. All right. The next group I'm getting to is the one that should light up every Tiger fan's face. But before that, I'm going to give you the hookup to light up all your friends' faces when you impress them with an impressive homegating or tailgating catering this year. You've got Tramonte's, located behind Parkview Baptist on Jefferson and Airline. They are your homegating and tailgating headquarters for the 2022 season. Go check out their menu, Tramontes.com. It will impress every time. Everything is so good. Like T-Bob even said, I love when I bring guests on and they're like, yo, man, I love Tramonte's. I get a lot of guys like that who just love it. I've had Will Blackwell on come say the same thing. A lot of LSU players love it. Stephen Ridley's a big fan of Tramonte's as well. Their ribeye rolls, guys, are like the best in the business. If my wife or anybody ever wants to treat me something special, they know Tramonte's ribeye roll is where you go for that. They got 30 kinds of meat and sausage. They do lunch deli weekdays till about 3 p.m. So if you want to pop in and get a po' boy, roast beef sandwich, or a burger, oh man, I love their burgers. That's where you go. So let's hear from them, and I'll be right back, and I'm gonna break down wide receivers.
Tramonte's has meat. Tramonte's has seafood. Tramonte's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tramontes.com.
That is Tramontes.com. Y'all go check them out. They got a meat sale coming up August 27th. So they say good meat ain't cheap, cheap meat ain't good. Well, maybe, maybe you can get some good meat cheap. Y'all go check it out. Wide receiver, y'all. I think LSU is in very good shape at their wide receiver core. That's why figuring out this quarterback is so important, because you've got to get a guy who can get them the ball. I legitimately think LSU could have the best receiving core in the SEC. No lie, y'all. I mean, you've got Kashawn Butte, who's very possibly the best wide receiver in the country. We all know about Kashawn Butte. We want to get him on the field. We all know about, he's had a little bit of back and forth with Brian Kelly, but he's here, and he's looking really good at number 7 in practice. Now, the next guy in line, I think he is looking like a freak show, showing shades of Odell Beckham or Jarvis Landry before they broke on the scene, or even a Kashawn Butte before he really broke out strong. It just looks, what it really reminds me of is, remember when Jamar Chase was a true freshman in that Joe Burrow 2018 offense? And he just showed flashes of just, whoa, what a play, or gosh, this guy could be a freak. It looks like the calm before the storm when you're seeing these little flashes. Malik Neighbors. He's 6 foot 195, but man, he really doesn't look it. I mean, he's got long arms. He jumps broadly. I think Malik Neighbors is on his way to a fantastic sophomore breakout season. If you're taking a breakout star, that's your guy. I think he's going to be spectacular. And I think whether it's Jayden Daniels or whether it's Nussmeier, I think either one of them will get the ball to him very well. I will say it seems like Nussmeier has a little bit more of a particular connection with him based on what I've seen. I've seen a lot of just like highlight reel grabs from Nussmeier, but I don't necessarily think that has anything to do with any special, unique bond. I bet you Jayden Daniels is getting those reps. I bet you Malik Neighbors also makes some special catches. But depth, and depth is so important. I am a big depth guy. You hear me talking about the running back room, how I say even though the top 2 guys are really good and I like them, it's still a problem. I look at I remember LSU's 2011 team that was so good. It was just so deep. It was so deep, so many good players, and that plays such a factor. When one guy goes down, you have somebody else ready to plug in, because guys go down during the football season. That's what happens in life. Or sometimes a guy gets tired and you want to sub him out. Being able to rotate like that, y'all, it's just such a big deal. Jeray Jenkins is your most veteran player, and he's with your 2s right now. Next to him, you're going to have Brian Thomas, the 6'4" receiver out of Walker, who got some good reps last year. I think he'll be a good player. I mean, you're going to have to rotate a lot of guys in. Jack Besh. I think Jack Besh might be your 3rd best receiver. He's just so reliable. He caught everything in the spring game. He's been a little banged up during fall camp, but I expect he'll be ready to roll. And I think those 5 guys are an incredibly strong receiver core. I mean, you've got 5 very good players ready to be some of the best in the SEC right there. And then behind them, you've got Kyron Lacey, the ULL transfer. Chris Hilton is a guy, redshirt freshman. He's still very good. We saw him catch a long touchdown in the bowl game. Y'all, there's a ton of good receivers on this team. Landon Ibieta, the true freshman, watch out for him. Malik Neighbors will also return kicks, I expect. So, guys, this is a damn strong lineup we've got here at wide receiver. I think if you could get the ball to them consistently, I'm hoping that offensive line will give you enough time. I think we could see a better year than what we're expecting here. Let's see here. Man, this is a good question. Does Besh play in the slot more with 11 personnel? I think Jack Besh will almost exclusively play the slot. We'll just have to see, man. It's a good question. I don't particularly know. I bet I would expect Besh will be playing a lot in the slot. I'm hoping to get a better idea this Saturday when me and Mike are back out at practice again. Hoping to get a better idea of that. But we'll see. And hopefully he'll be a little healthier too. I want to take a little bit of time. And guys, look, I'm going to go ahead and give you that little, here is your 5-minute warning. Go ahead and get your comments in. Any good comment here, I'm going to get to. All right. But I am going to thank my final sponsor of the night. I'm going to thank Celebrity Theaters. This is a new sponsor, one I'm very excited to bring on. They're locally owned and operated with locations in Baton Rouge, Ruston, and Broussard. So, of course, I know a ton of the TigerBait subscribers come from that general area. That pretty much is all our big markets, with the exception of New Orleans. Because they're locally owned, you're guaranteed a clean facility, better pricing, superior customer service, state-of-the-art technology. You get all those things at Celebrity Theaters. You don't have to go. These are things you think of when you think of the big corporate theaters. No, you get all this at Celebrity. The Baton Rouge location has an invigorating arcade, y'all. It is awesome. I cannot wait to take my little boy when he comes. He'll be born in October. Can't wait to bring him to this arcade. May have to let him grow up a little bit. Maybe 6 months later. I don't know. We'll see about that. But it's the largest in town. It's got a bar featuring wine, beer, frozen drinks, all that good stuff, man. It's honestly, the frozen Jack and Coke runs you about $1 more than a soda. It's pretty cool. They do weekly specials. Monday is Senior Savings Day. Tuesday is Bargain Tuesday, where you get, discounted movies and stuff. College night, any LSU college students watching, you get $5 movie tickets after 5 p.m. with a college ID. So y'all go check them out. By the way, every theater has oversized leather seats, reclining. I do not go to a theater unless it has some of those reclining leather seats, y'all. It is what's up. Dolby Atmos sound system, y'all. If you go watch anything like Top Gun or anything like that, it is second to none. If you have a corporate event, they're your place to go to. Events at celebritytheaters.com. So thank you, celebrities. Thank you, Tramontes, and thank you, Dead Soxy, for making our show possible this year. Let's see. Any comments here? See, this is another good comment on Besh. He could be your second tight end in 12 personnel too. I've thought that a lot. I think with the emergence of Mason Taylor, you might be dialing that back. I think they really want to keep guys in their position. Oh, another thing I'm interested, do they move Harold Perkins? I think they really want guys to play their position. I mean, obviously we've seen some shuffling in the offensive line, but the vibe I'm getting from this coaching staff is they don't want guys playing a whole different position. They want to develop guys. They want to have continuity of the program. Like that's one of the big themes I've seen out of Brian Kelly is he's talking about long-term sustainable winning. So if you move Besh into tight end, yeah, he could do it, but you're taking away from his development as a slot receiver. So that's why I tend to think you'll see him almost hopefully exclusively as a slot receiver. Hopefully you don't need him at tight end. Hopefully Mason and Cole can hold it down there. Guys, I appreciate y'all for joining us tonight on your LSU Football Fix. Appreciate T-Bob for coming out. Y'all don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell. Mike goes live with Buddy tomorrow. Do me a favor. If you haven't, guys, if you're on your way out, please hit that like button, comment, share the show with your friends and family, all that good stuff, to your favorite Facebook group, all of that good stuff. Or leave a super chat if you really enjoyed it. I appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. I will see y'all next Tuesday after I go see LSU's final Saturday without football. And I'll tell you everything I see. All right, guys, y'all have a great night.